Hi everyone, my name is Audrey and welcome to my channel. Today I'm giving you my March TBR.
Had my head so deep in the sand. When I met you, didn't have plans, but I stayed when I should have ran. Hey, and this happens every time. Get too close when I'm playing with fire. I get burned, but I know we'll be fine. Hey, got me running around in circles, looking for a shortcut. Does it get easier? Cause I'm trying not to hurt now. I don't wanna miss out, I don't wanna lose all this. I ain't afraid to say I love you, baby. I ain't afraid to say that at all. All I'm saying is it with you, baby. I'm afraid I'll fall. I keep a lock around my heart for safety, cause I've been through this before. All I'm saying is it with you, baby. I'm afraid I'll fall. So who knows where we're gonna land? I know you're scared, babe, I understand, but I got you, just take my hand. Hey, and this happens every time, but with you I know I'll be fine. You're the sun in my darkest night. Hey,
got me running around in circles, looking for a shortcut. Does it get easier? Cause I'm trying not to hurt now. I don't wanna miss out, I don't wanna lose all this.
I ain't afraid to say I love you, baby. I ain't afraid to say that at all. All I'm saying is it with you, baby. I'm afraid I'll fall. I keep a lock around my heart for safety, cause I've been through this before. All I'm saying is it with you, baby. I'm afraid I'll fall.
I couldn't see with how close I was. It's not hard to find if your grip is loose enough. How lucky to be by your side, to feel your stare. Sick as a dog, I run my hands through your hair. Oh, my heart will wait for nothing. The intense rearranged, making space where there was none before. She says she's running on time. Darling, aren't we all? I think you could show me something that I won't need to resolve. So twist my words until you can find a way to make them work for you. Your windshield drawings start to fade. Oh, my heart will change. I wait for nothing. The intense rearrange, making space where there was none before. I wanted you to see Viso at night, where once a year the rain obscures the sight. I kissed the water from your mouth, toiling with the thought of perfect, and how nothing ever stays the same. My heart will change. I wait for nothing. The intense rearrange, making space where there was none before.
So a little bit of a spoiler alert, there's many things in February that I didn't get to because my life is total chaoticness. But I am very excited for March. First of all, it's already spring break for me, so I'm hoping to catch up on the books I'm behind for my Goodreads challenge. I set myself a goal to read 52 books for the whole year, and so far I'm at 5 books read by the end of February, which is not a lot. So I'm maybe 3 or 4 books behind at this point. But I'm still hopeful that I'm gonna get back into it and get some reading done. As I always do, I participate in the Readathon, which is hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala. So here's the thing. For the month of January, the buzzword was to read a book with the word there in the title, whatever type of there it is. And I decided to pick up There by Tommy Orange. I didn't get to it. Not in January and not in February either. So here it is on my March TBR. I am going to get to it. It is very short. It's under 300 pages. So this is one of my books that I'm making a priority to read this month. For February, the buzzword was a positive word, and that was a tough one to find books that I already owned that would fit that prompt. But I decided to go with A Promised Land by Barack Obama, which is his first nonfiction novel, I think. It is pretty long. I was really surprised because it's just under 2,000 pages in ebook format, and that's like a big fantasy book. And it turns out that Goodreads says the actual book is a good chunk of a book as well. It's like 700 pages. So I didn't know that going into it, but it's fine. I already started the first chapter so far, and it sounds very interesting. I did read Michelle Obama's book a while back. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. I think it was the year before. And I did enjoy it. So I'm curious to see his own side of everything. So yeah, that was for February. I didn't finish it. I only just started it. So I'm rolling that one into March as well. You're going to see a theme here anyways. For March, the buzzword is to read a book with a character name in the title. So for that prompt, I have a lot. And I'm going to briefly show them to you, those that I do own, and I'll tell you which one I'm probably going to get to, because I'm definitely not getting to all of them. The first one with that prompt is The Strange and Beautiful Life of Ava Lavender. This was a BookTube favorite for like years ago, before I actually was into BookTube. When I started looking into BookTube, I saw this title a lot. So is it overhyped? I don't know, but I've heard so many amazing things about it. Will it pass the test of time? I don't know. It is YA. I think it's a little bit of a magical realism. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember. I've had it on my e-reader for a while, and I think that's the book that I'm going to prioritize for this prompt this month, because it's an oldie and I do want to get to those older books. The next one on my list is The Book of Ivy, which is book number 1 out of 2 books, which is the first book of a duology, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember what it's about. If I'm not mistaken, it is a dystopian, so end of the world type of situation, political wise, but that's pretty much all I know, and I'm fine with that. The next one is The Bookish Life of Nina Hill. This one, I did start reading the first chapter 2 years ago, I think, but I wasn't really drawn into it. It was soft DNF. I had too many books anyways that I was trying to read and to get to at that time, and that one wasn't just pulling me into it. And honestly, it's a contemporary book. It's not my favorite genre either, so I don't think I'm actually gonna pick it up, but I'm putting it in the options anyways. We never know what I might be in the mood for. So this one follows a main character that is an introvert and loves books, and she gets out of her comfort zone because she discovers new family members, I think, that she didn't know of before, and something like that, and her world is turned upside down. That's what I remember about it, I think. But yeah. The next book I might pick up for this prompt is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I am a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes, especially the TV series with Benedict Cumberbatch, which is my all-time favorite. It's a comfort TV series that I rewatch and re-binge over and over again. So I did want to see the source material of this. This one I got for a very cheap price a long time ago. So I did, I think, start a chapter or 2 a while back. And if I'm not mistaken, it was for a buzzword which had to have like a name in the title, not necessarily the character's name, but a name. And I'm picking it back up with the same prompt-ish. So yeah, maybe I get to it, maybe I don't. If I do get to it, I will start it all over again, for sure. I was enjoying the bit that I did read, so I do think I'm going to enjoy reading the book. I think I just need to be in the mood for it to pick it up. The next book I have is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, and this one is gonna be a tough one because when I first started reading it, it was tough for me to comprehend and grasp what was going on and what information I was supposed to keep and understand. And yeah, I was just confused reading the first chapters. I do want to get to it eventually. It follows these necromancers that are in like separate planets, and there's a competition, I think, to get a position, a high important position. When I've heard talking about it, it seemed so interesting. The premise seems interesting. The world is definitely something I haven't read about at all. I don't think so. But it is a little bit tough to get into. I am going to have to push through a little bit. I do have the second book, which is Nona the Ninth. So I am going to get to them. Will it be this month? I'm not sure, because I do have a lot of heavy fantasy already on my TBR, so we'll see. And the last possible book I have for this prompt is Romanov, which is a retelling of the Romanov story of Anastasia, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know much about their history. I've heard a lot of people talk about them, but I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to this royal family and this part of history. But I am curious to get into it. And it would be a little bit different from my current reads that are on my TBR if I do decide to pick it up. That might be one of the reasons why I pick it up. Also, it's not that thick, so maybe a quicker read would help out a bit. And then I also participate in the Choose Your Own Adventure Readathon, which is hosted by BookRoast, because she does the Aureliathon twice a year, but she also does the adventures in Adelia. I cannot pronounce this name, but the other months where there's no Aureliathon, you can pick a prompt and follow through like this little map and choose the prompt you prefer depending on like where you've been last month. So it's all year long, and I've been doing it since last year, and last year I only had one prompt I didn't manage to get to. This year so far I haven't managed much. For January, it was to read a book physically, which I did. That was easy. In February, the prompt was to read a book that was 100 pages more than your average book page count. My average is around 400 pages, or just under, if I'm not mistaken. So that is very easily done with a fantasy book. And I did have a lot of them on my TBR last month, but I didn't get to it. For February, I read a lot of like shorter books. I did complete Assassin's Apprentice, but the actual physical book is not that long. It's under 500 pages, so I didn't make that one count. But I'm definitely going to get to it in March. We'll see which book will actually be long enough to complete that prompt. I'm not sure just yet. And the prompt for March is to read a book that is neither the first nor the last book in the series. So for that one, I decided to pick either The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin, which is the second book of the 5th season, which was a 6 stars from me, a very favorite book of mine. I was really surprised with how it all developed. I wasn't sure at first, but I got into it so quickly and it was just amazing. N.K. Jemisin is a queen. Her writing is just top tier. And I cannot wait to get to the second and the third book in the series. And one of my goals this year is to finish series. So I'm definitely going to pick it up soon. See, this one looks very thick, but it's just around 400 pages. So the other one I might pick up for this prompt is The Two Towers, which is book number 2 of The Lord of the Rings. I started it a while back last year and I put it aside so I can pick up other books for other prompts, but I do want to finish it and finish like the whole trilogy, and I need to pick it up if I want to eventually finish it. So yeah, it's my first time reading them, but I really am enjoying my reading experience, and I'm a huge fan of the movies anyways, so I'm not too worried getting back into it, even if I haven't picked it up in a couple of months. Next on my TBR, I am doing my own read-along for all of Robin Hobb's books. So for January, I was supposed to read Assassin's Apprentice, which I finished last month. So yeah, I'm behind some books in my own read-along, but we're not gonna talk about it. For February, I was supposed to read A Royal Assassin, and for March, I was supposed to read Assassin's Quest. So haven't started Royal Assassin so far. My goal is to actually start Royal Assassin and finish it, and then start Assassin's Quest this month so that I can catch up on my own read-along thing. I don't know. how much I'll actually be able to read, but here's me hoping that I'll get to both of these books. But that one could also count for a second book in a series. So I know that I can actually complete the prompt for Choose Your Own Adventure if I do manage to finish Royal Assassin. So I also put some other books on my TBR. I know it's already so long, but I have started these books and I do want to make some progress into them, even if I don't finish them. If at least I've made some progress, maybe it will help me get to that finish line. So yeah, I'm putting them in there anyways. So here we go. The first one is A Brief History of 7 Killings by Marlon James, which is a very heavy book, very violent, very triggering, and difficult to read. But it talks about the assassination attempt on Bob Marley, and especially considering that there's a new Bob Marley movie that is just coming out, I think it's the right time to pick this up. I've read 80 pages so far, and this has like 688 pages. If I read this, I will manage to have done the Choose Your Own Adventure prompt from last month, which was to read 100 pages more than your average book page count. So this one would work. But it takes so much time to get through it, and I cannot read too much of it at like one go. So I'm not sure I'm actually gonna manage to finish it. I'm just gonna be happy if I make some progress into it, to be honest. So the next one on my list is The Diviners by Lee Bray. This is a reread, a YA fantasy horror mystery thing. It's creepy, it's magical, it's set in the 20s in New York City. It's fun and very, very, very creepy. I was rereading it in order to get to Lair of Dreams, which is book number 2 of the series, and I do want to eventually get to it, so I'm gonna need to make some progress into this one. This one is, I think, 500 pages, so it might work. 468, I'm gonna have to check. It might work for the 100 pages more than your average book. I'll see. I'll have to go back to last year's average and count that out, but that'd be fun if it worked. And the last book on this list is The Whole Brain Child, which I have in French, by Daniel Siegel. This was recommended to me by the psychologist at my school for my son to understand emotions and stuff. And I am really interested in reading it. It's under 300 pages. And I've been told it reads really easily. So I'm not too worried that I'm actually going to get to that one. That is it. And that is way too much on my TBR, but that's what I'm looking at this month. Hopefully I'll be able to read a bit more than last month. I did read 3 books, but very short books, and I do want to catch up on my reading because I want to get to those books. It's just life is getting in the way for some reason, but it's fine. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you've enjoyed them. Do you recommend one over the other? Which one should I start with first? Like, comment, subscribe if you wish. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.